Forward Compatible Podcast. This is episode 152. Also, our 5-year anniversary. And to commemorate, Tony's going to get naked. Forward Compatible Dance Party. They didn't want to dance.
Well, I mean, your ass was shaking in my face seconds after. I had no idea.
I want to go to Las Vegas. I want to be a dancer.
There you go. Get up and do your moves. Please don't shake your ass in my face like Tony did.
My name's Tony. I'm joined as always by my fellow podcasters, Jason and Mark.
Hi.
Also known as the two gentlemen who don't want to dance.
Hopefully everything sounds right.
We bought a new cable. We bought a new cable because of the last...
2 cables, actually.
Because it sounded like crap last time.
The last fiasco we had.
Quality was
5 years, still can't get this shit.
You think we would have worked out the bugs by now, but no.
We had a good run of like a good year and a half where everything worked flawlessly. And then we're like, fuck it.
Now it's just echoey and...
Yeah, this shouldn't be too echoey. I think I got the gain set right. We can get a little closer to the mic if we want, but...
Walls.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, is there's not a whole lot in the walls here in the dining room here.
It's a shit show, everybody. It's a shit show.
I was looking back because I made a post on Facebook, so I was looking back through the pictures because I wanted to repost one of the pictures. And then, like the old setup in the old apartment where it was just a wall
covered with fucking posters.
But you couldn't see any of them because of the glare.
Go just like this. You can't see this during the show.
You can't.
There's actually really, really cool like hieroglyphics and everything.
You can't see it because of the glare.
And then we got the orange backdrop, and then we tried to get fancy with lighting rigs and
too much gloss.
all that shit. You know, I didn't paint this apartment.
Less is more, gentlemen. That's what it really...
Well, that's what we said from the offset after that like year break. We're like, well, we're gonna come back. We're gonna do it. We're gonna keep it simple. We needed a new cable that was like, what'd you pay? Like $10?
$9 and some change.
I paid like $17 for the other half of it, so it's like $30 to replace the cable once a year. Whatever, it's fine.
Breaking the bank.
Broke MacBook over there that
I fixed.
That we're running the Yeti off of.
Fixed it. Fixed it so good.
That was the problem before. Is the Yeti decided to turn itself off. Who cares?
And what does Jason do all day, you ask?
I work a lot.
Just nothing.
Absolutely
nothing.
I work just 10 hours a day.
Lying to you.
I work.
How many rubs his nipples?
It's the 5-year anniversry. We're supposed to be celebrating.
You get the other
4 months of the year.
Get the other one, Mark. Come on, Mark.
So, it's been what? 2 months?
No, a month.
About a month.
Yeah. Okay. Let's kick off the show with our monthly roundtable and catch everybody up on what we've been playing since last time it was.
Depends on when Jason posts it. It could be 5 weeks by the time you actually see this.
I got the other one up really quick, with the exception of like having a broken fucking tooth.
Yeah, he breaks his teeth because he doesn't want to fucking upload.
A broken tooth, and still managed to get
It's just like, okay, it's worth it.
Like, I'm doped up on like pain meds, and I still got the episodes put out.
You see this? See what we put up with? It's
What a dick.
so many excuses. What a
This
dick.
is why I'm not going to invite him over for a Royal Rumble
That's
next.
just because I'm winning!
Congratulations. Alright, really quick. Every year when the Royal Rumble wrestling rolls around, everybody comes over. We do a little Royal Rumble pool. I'm not going to get into the details of how we do it. Long story short, Mark won the pot this year. Was the biggest pot we had. It was $250.
Yep.
What did you spend that on?
I got an Elite controller and I bought Overwatch on PC.
Okay, so let's start with that. I've had my Elite for like a year, or however long it's been out. What do you think? What's your review?
I really like it. Now, if I had it won this, I probably would have never gone out and bought it just because of the price. It's still like $120 with like my discount after tax, and it's so hard to justify it when you can pick up the other controllers for like $40. but it definitely has such a nice premium feel. Those rubberized grips in the back just feel so good.
The weight to it.
The weight, it's got perfect. I like the all the metal. I love that D-pad. That's my favorite D-pad.
Are you using the circle one?
Yeah, the circle.
Yeah.
One. That's a nice D-pad.
You're the only one without one now, correct? Okay. Well, when's your birthday?
October.
You know what? Fuck it. We'll all chip in. We'll get Tony a. We're not asking you.
Yeah, you're being
I can buy my own stuff. Fucking guys.
Not right now. You can't. You've been off for like 3 months.
Yeah, we're going back to work in like 2 weeks.
You're like poor right now.
Yeah, that's right. It's
He's down to like ramen noodles at home
It's like
right
it's
now.
bad. This is like the time where I'm the most depleted. Because I put money away every year for the winter when we're out of work, but you know it's never enough, and it gets depleted and depleted and depleted until it's time to go back to work.
All right. What are you clicking on the back of this? Stop that. Go back to pinching your pants. There you go.
Kind of.
Okay. Because I know somebody is gonna be like, "The fuck is that clicking?"
Where's your clicking? Okay, Mark, what do you been playing?
So, I've just had nothing to play for a while. So my roommate was playing FIFA. So I picked up FIFA because I have never played one of those games like in 10 years. And I'm actually trying to get good at that. I'm failing miserably. That game is just so goddamn complicated and hard. But I'm having fun. Other than that, I tried what game was it again? Dangerous Lovers in Lost Space or something? That was
Lovers in the Dangerous Space.
Yeah, there you go. He downloaded that on my console, so I played that for like a half hour before I came over here. I mean, a lot of it's kind of boring stuff. I mean, I'm working my way through the BioShock collection. I'm on to number 2.
Dose.
You know, Tony and I happened to grab lunch a couple days ago. He was free by my work.
Yeah.
We were kind of having a little discussion. It's been a really dry season for games.
Yeah.
Really dry. You know,
I'm almost caught up with everything that I wanted to get to.
That's weird because that hasn't happened to me in years. And
Yeah.
I'm very
I
similar.
have a huge back catalog of stuff, and I'm just like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't
And
know.
then I do a few where I'm like, well, I meant to get to this, but
Yeah.
I'm like, not in the mood.
That's the downside is right
weird
now.
taste
Yeah,
in
it's just,
games right now.
it's a really dry time.
Like, I don't even follow soccer. I've watched maybe one game in the last.
You're just trying something
I'm just
new.
trying something new because I'm.
Yeah.
I think it's at the point where there was a lot of games that came out this past holiday season. The problem was the interest level wasn't there, especially for me. I can't speak for everybody, but a lot of them were sequels to games that I didn't care about the first game, let alone the sequel.
Yeah, like, was it Dishonored 2? It's like...
Yeah, and then they had like Titanfall 2.
Yeah.
It was just like, I don't really care about any of this stuff. The only reason I got COD this year was because I was looking really forward to the Modern Warfare Remastered.
I got it for the campaign of Infinite Warfare, which was awesome.
It turned out that the Infinite Warfare campaign was actually pretty good, and they kind of screwed up the Modern Warfare Remaster, so it actually ended up working out.
You done any of the zombie stuff with that yet? Because
we played.
the reason I ask is because there's like a new thing that came out and Kevin Smith's in the game.
Yeah.
I was just curious if you...
I haven't played that
No.
one. That's
You
like
have to buy the
first
DLC. You have to buy the DLC
Okay.
for it. Okay, that's not going to happen because I don't like the first one. So.
Gotcha.
Sorry. Were you playing anything else?
I got into World of Warcraft again because
You're just trying to grab something
I'm
that...
trying to grab something that grabs my attention. So
I know it's not exactly video game related, but Mark let a little sweet nugget slip earlier. Mark, what were you doing last night?
Oh, I played my very first D&D.
What is D&D?
Dungeons and Dragons, like the sit in your basement, play board games with, or not really board games, but you have your dungeon master and all that kind of stuff. So I played my very first one of that. I've been invited to probably like 2 or 3 over my lifetime, and I never went. But this one was at my house in my basement. So it was my sister and her friends, so we played that.
Why didn't you guys go into the basement to do it?
I don't know.
Was it just for that, like...
It's better.
I mean,
It's better setup.
that's really cliche for D&D.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's a better setup for like my house.
Okay.
So, cause, like, there's already a table that's down there set up that you can have like 8 people at.
Gotcha.
So,
That makes a little bit more sense, but just like we went into the basement.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, were you guys LARPing?
No.
live action role
I
players.
don't know what any of this means.
Alright,
I've never played it. I did yesterday.
I've heard of Dungeons and
First time.
Dragons. I've never actually sat down.
Mark, since you're kind of new to it, how would you describe it to somebody who's not familiar with?
At all, besides
At
the
all.
name.
Well, so our dungeon master, who's basically like the in charge,
The storyteller. The narrator.
I don't know how he even asked, but so he gets a story basically. Then he tells you he gives you a little.
You can
backstory of
find
it.
campaigns online or there's books.
That's what I figured it was.
Or you can create your own. Now, let me ask you this. You started at the beginning, right?
I missed first play session, so there was some things that happened that I had no idea. So this was the second get together.
Did you create your own character?
I did.
Did you have the player sheet?
Yes.
Okay. How long did it take you to create your player?
There was probably a good 20 minutes, maybe half hour.
That's actually pretty quick. Usually, when you're starting a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, imagine Skyrim, but on pen and paper, okay?
Yeah.
With all the customization options that you can get in a Skyrim on pen and paper. You have a book that's basically your index and tells you, well, if you're this race, you can have these
So here's my
attributes.
Here's my thing with that. I tend to play one of the defaults because I don't fucking care about any of that shit. When I play all these games, the Fallouts, the Skyrims, anything that's a big, vast, open world RPG, I'll take into account the first okay, this guy's more of the tank, this guy's more of the magic guy, this guy's more. That's all it really boils down to, because once you get about halfway into the game, you can level up any character into anything, so it really doesn't matter as much as people make it out.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later after we finish that about Mass Effect because they're.
That's where in Dungeons and Dragons, you can't really do that. Once you pick your class,
I would just
you
pick
can
one of the
kind
defaults.
So you'd be like a fighter or a ranger.
Awesome.
So I ended up picking a paladin and basically.
For your first time playing, you picked a paladin.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean that's just I read it and I was like.
Usually people start off with a rogue or a.
I probably should have
a
because
fighter.
especially the group I'm in, I have a bunch of thieves and it's the paladin. It's
He's very tanky.
it's more the story behind it is you have to be always lawfully good. So if I see my party member stealing or something and I
have to have a moral conflict with it.
Yeah, I have to have a moral conflict because if not, I can lose my powers and then I become a different class.
I know we keep teasing these things, but I want to throw this out there for everybody. Tony plays Dungeons and Dragons.
They do not, though.
No. I'm saying as a video,
That's the
a one-off video. Let's give him the player book.
Oh.
Let's give him the
I thought you were just straight up lying.
no, the player manual, right? And have him create a character and see if he can fit it within the D&D mold.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Firefox.
Nice! Alright. So, I mean, that technically, even though it's not a video game, D&D is very much ingrained into the video game world because you wouldn't have things like the character creators in Fallout or Skyrim or the open world kind of dungeons of Zelda and things like that if it wasn't for Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay. How about yourself, sir? What you been playing?
Well, most recently, I haven't had a whole lot of time or a lot of interest in anything that's out currently, so I'm not going to bore anybody with older stuff that I've been playing. But one game that I do want to kind of give a shout out to is the Behemoth's new game called Pit People. It is in early access. It's an early access or game preview.
Yeah.
It's like $15. You get a good 2-hour story because that's as far as they've got. But essentially, it's going to be kind of hard to describe here to Tony. Tony, are you familiar with Fire Emblem?
No.
Okay. Final Fantasy Tactics?
No.
Turn-based, top-down, kind of like role play.
Yes.
Alright, so imagine you have a battlefield, right? And it's almost like an RTS, except it's turn-based.
Maybe it's turn-based strategy, not RTS.
Well, I'm trying to give him.
I never comprende.
I'm trying to paint a picture for him.
Si se puede.
But now take the Behemoth's humor and apply it into the game.
Which is fucking hilarious, if I must say so.
I do like the Behemoth's games.
So the main
It's on your console unless you want to install.
the character that you start with, there's a hilarious little thing. Like he's got a sword and he's got a shield. You know what a shield is, right? It's a fence because it's a defense.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. So, Andy and I have been playing that a little bit on and off. Again, we're just kind of waiting for the next update for it. Once you complete the campaign, you can roam around free encounters, and then it's got the Fire Emblem / Pokemon aspect where you can fight enemies and capture them and they become part of your team. So like the little hairy monster from Castle Crashers is in it. It spits out the little hairballs.
Yeah.
In Castle Crashers, they call him a native. I've got him on my team and stuff like that. Really cool game.
Yeah, no, it's neat. The enemy variety is pretty ridiculous too. Like there is a lot of creativity.
Yeah. And then for the first time today, even though it came out back in September, October, November, whatever it is, I fired up Battlefield 1 and did the little bye. Oh, okay.
What'd you do?
Just give my
I did the prologue.
You haven't played it even that far?
No, I had not launched the game.
That is like, that was, I think, shoot, I can't remember if I said that was my favorite game of the year. I think I did. I was doing 1 or 2 because I remember I was going back and forth.
The only problem that I had is it was like early and I get a lot of glare out of the TV, and that's already very like dark and muddy because of the setting. So I'm like, I know I know you're supposed to die in it, but I'm still just trying to shoot people. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So I'll probably fire it up again tonight or something. It's good game. Give it a shot.
It's fun. Let me know if you do like multiplayer, because like that's the reason
that's
I
where I'm
really
getting
fall back into it.
Andy was over last week, and
If you and Andy finally have it on one of your consoles, then we can all make almost a team.
Right there.
Andy's had it since launch.
I think you're lying.
Andy,
I believe you.
how long have you had Battlefield 1?
Black Friday, I think it was.
Not launch.
Yeah, suck my balls. Yeah, in October.
Close enough. Close enough. Tony would have known that if he wasn't a bitch and came out with us on Black Friday.
I had to work. God, I hate these guys.
Anyways, Andy was over last week, and since it's on the console and his profile's on the console, he was playing it, so I was kind of in the background watching him.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I can do this.
Honestly, like I haven't really been into competitive multiplayer for a long time, and it is one of the few games that
Somebody
I
doesn't know what to do
really
well anymore.
enjoy.
I'm kind of 50-50. I know he was playing it again last week, and then I watched a couple of YouTubers play it because it was the beta. I kind of am, and I've read a couple of reviews for it, I'm kind of digging For Honor a
Okay.
little bit. So I don't know, I think we're going to wait and just see, like grab it when it's on sale for the first time and go
It's a
from there.
Ubisoft game, so 1 month it'll be
That's why I'm waiting, and Ubisoft is notorious for having issues with their online right at start, and that's one thing that I've read. It reminds me a lot of Rise visually, and I really liked Rise.
I tried it for you guys. Both you guys spoke so
I really liked Rise too.
Yeah, but you tried it like a year after, like it was a amazing launch game.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't anything out.
I still, to this day, think it's in the top 5 best looking games on the Xbox One.
Yeah,
and
it was good looking, for sure.
It was a launch game, and it's almost 4 years old at this point, and I still think it's one of the top 5 best looking games.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that game.
People were making fun of it, but
That's
the way that
what's-
they did everything with the shading and the lighting, and it
That's what's
looked
pushing me
awesome.
towards For Honor a little bit is the main reason that I don't do competitive multiplayer is because I can't snipe for shit. 90% of the people out there are snipers. I'm more of a run and gunner. I like to just run around, shoot people, have fun. I can't
You probably
stand.
love Overwatch then.
I can't
personally.
stand when I get popped from 200 yards and can't see the guy. It's frustrating for me as a gamer. I understand the skill behind it and everything, but it's still very annoying for me. With For Honor, it's completely melee. So it looks like so much fun just running around and knocking people off ledges and cornering people and stuff. Looks like a lot of fun. So
Yeah, I've watched some people do the beta
Yeah.
for it.
I've also been on the fence with Overwatch. My only concern is Overwatch is very, very fast paced, and I don't have those. I
It's
don't
not
have
like-
those skills anymore.
It's not like an Unreal speed though, or Doom. It's not that.
I'm still, it's been on the radar. It's It's been something that I've been kind of like watching a little bit of and interested in. It seems like it's fast, again, just for me, and it seems like that skill curve is very steep. Like, I can have a ton of fun with some friends.
Plays totally different.
But if we jump online, we're gonna get our asses kicked. That's my kind of, where it's very intimidating, because like if I'm just getting my ass beat every single match,
I
lose
not fun.
interest.
It's hard.
No, I agree.
The problem nowadays is you really have to be in to these games somewhat in the beginning.
Yeah.
And Overwatch has been out for a long time. You're
start with that
so
curve.
behind the curve right now. It's hard to, I don't know. That's with any game though.
For competitive, yes. So that's not a whole lot, but there's some stuff that I'm kind of watching. I want to dip my toes into. But Tony,
not much since we
See a
last
theme?
spoke. I've been knocking out some of the backlog. A lot of backlog. The main thing that I want to talk about. Well, there are two main games that I've been playing. I finally finished Life is Strange. That's what it's called. Me and Mark have been bitching about this game the whole time.
Why do people like that game?
It was such a turn off the whole game, and I'm finally like I'm looking at it. I'm like 70% through. I'm like, let me just power through and finish this last.
I swore
couple
you had
chapters.
finished it too.
Huh?
I swore you had finished it too.
No. So I gotta say, after I finished it, I understand some of the praise it got for the 5th chapter. If the whole
is that the
game,
tornado chapter?
No, Tornado shows up in episode 1 at the very
yeah, but it kind of culminates toward the end.
Yeah, that's.
The
I
last
watched the Let's Player play it. Checks up the guys out. Sorry.
the last episode was
just
quite,
like I used to be.
it was quite good. The problem was the 4 episodes that came before it. It was, for me, it was really boring. But I get how the ending made a lot of people really, really like that game. Now that I've completed it 100%, I do understand some of the praise it got. I still don't think it's the greatest thing of all time. They literally, Mark, literally, not figuratively, literally ripped half of the Butterfly Effects, the actual movie, stole half of the script to make that game, down to the nosebleeds. That's all that game is.
That movie was awesome until the last 5 minutes.
Well, this seems like it's the exact opposite.
The one where he kills him in the fucking room.
Because there's like 3 of them.
Is there?
Yeah, there's that one, and there's the one where he goes up to the girl at the party when they're 2 or 3 years old when they first meet, and he bitches her out, so they never become friends, and then they both become successful. That was like the alternative ending. And some
I still like Donnie Darko better.
The other. But anyway, like when you do Life is Strange, and then you check out that movie, and you're like, man, they really stole a lot. And that's fine. It's art imitating other art and whatnot. People do that kind of stuff all the time. I'm not saying that's a huge fault, but it's just like we already did this. And my point is all the bashing that I've done on the show, I've talked about it 3 or 4 times, very, very poorly. And what I'm trying to say is I shouldn't have been so fast to judge it, because it turned out at the end to be quite mediocre, not truly atrocious, terrible piece
Like
of
how I
garbage.
still feel about it after 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's how I first painted it out to be. I feel like I should have finished it. And now that I have, it is pretty mediocre.
I don't want to spend the extra 6 to 10 hours to get through the last 3 episodes.
Yeah. And it really doesn't culminate till the end anyway. The last chapter or act or episode or whatever you want is actually really, really good. I just don't take 20% of the game at the end and have that justify the previous 80% as being any good when it wasn't. The dialogue still sucked throughout the whole game, by the way. Really weird, really like, it feels like teenagers from another country tried to
Impersonate.
write American teenagers.
Since you mentioned,
Like, everything was really cringy.
since you mentioned,
Like, you think me dancing at the beginning of the episode was cringy? Try listening to the dialogue from Life is Strange.
No. Mark, you still do a lot of PC and stuff, and I'm hoping it makes the transition to console. And yes, I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't have cable. I cut the cord,
You're good.
so
I also do too.
I check out a lot of stuff. There's a lot of games that I can't play because I don't have a traditional gaming PC or anything.
Yeah.
Check out this game called Oxenfree.
Oh yeah, it's on console already.
Is it?
Yeah, it just came out. Not too long ago, I don't think, on Xbox. It came out, I think, a long time ago on PS4, and I think it
It's
just
been
came out
out
on
for a
Xbox. Yeah, and the game's been out for a while, but I think Xbox it just came
I
out
would like you
in
guys
the last
to give
couple
it a
of months,
shot.
I believe.
I honestly think this is right up both your alleys. Amazing story.
Greg Miller really likes it.
Amazing story, amazing voice acting, very stylized. It's a little bit, not platforming, but puzzles, and it's really well done. I think you guys would, you guys would probably put it up there with like Limbo and stuff like that. It's really well done.
Okay.
Check it out, please.
The other couple games I've been playing them together. Fallout Shelter came to Xbox, so I've been playing that. And since it's a lot of waiting around because I don't want to actually spend any money
It's
on
so
it.
weird to do that as a console game. I tried.
It is.
I'm
You're just
like, why am I
talking
waiting here? I can
But-
do literally nothing on a console.
Yeah, you're just sitting there waiting for stuff. So
It doesn't work.
So I have that. Well, they basically want you to spend money, but I'm not going to
No, I
spend
know.
any money on a fucking.
It doesn't
So-
work. It's a mobile only game.
So I'm playing that. It's like running on my Xbox. Everything's like, oh, this will be done in 3 hours. This will be done in an hour and a half, and this will be done in 6 hours. So it's just doing its. I got to this point where I broke. I didn't break the game, but I'm exploiting it because minus the achievements that make you continuously grow, you actually hit this point around 50 or 60 settlers where you're completely self-sufficient. The rooms build sufficient amount of water, food, and electricity. Your people are already souped up. You hold back every enemy because you have a good enough and a high enough amount of settlers to fight back anything that comes your way, including like the Deathclaw attacks, which when I first started would wipe out they would kill everybody because they were just so strong, but now I have the proper guns, the proper armor, and they're high level enough where those guys don't even make it through a room or two. My guys just decimate them. But you get to this point where then you get Mr. Handies, and Mr. Handies collect everything for you. They just go back and forth across the floor, so you don't even have to go on the individual rooms and tap on anything anymore to collect the water, electricity, and food that you're making. So like my thing is literally, you just have it running. Literally just have it running. And it does everything for you minus the quests. So I just have it on in the background while I'm like playing on the Vita, or I switch over to the PS4, or something that's something of that sort. So on my Vita, I've actually been running through. I played it 10 times, but I never beat it on the Vita. I'm playing Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. So if I recall correctly, because I haven't beaten that game in a long time, but I think I'm a little over halfway through it now. It's way harder on the Vita than it needs to be. I'm getting used to it now, but it took so long because the limited amount of buttons make everything really awkward. And for anyone who's ever played, I know it's never really a huge game, but it's half third person, half first person shooter. So between switching and aiming and zooming, and there's not enough buttons on the Vita to make everything. So everything takes like extra steps. So you'd be like in the middle of a shooting fight with like a boss or something, and then you'll have to like get out from overhead third person, zoom in, pull out your gun, and then double tap on the screen to turn into first person to like zoom in. It's like a lot of steps to like aim down sight, and in that kind of time frame you could end up dying. So I'm playing it on normal, and it's way harder on normal on the Vita than I remember it being on actually hard difficulty on the original Xbox when I first beat the game. So yeah, I don't know if that made any sense what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
It's really hard because of the Vita's limitations, but I'm enjoying it immensely. I'm dying a lot on normal is what I'm trying to get at, which is weird because it's not a really hard game. It's just a fun game. So
there's one other game that I wanted you to ask you about. because I lent it to you, was Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yes, that's right. I don't remember if we talked about this or not.
No, we
last
didn't.
episode. So I borrowed Metal Gear Solid 5 from Mark. I played through the first act or chapter or whatever you want to call it. I fucking loved it.
The hospital's amazing.
Loved it.
Best levels in gaming.
And I was like, oh my god, if this game is like this, I'm like, holy shit, they struck gold. I thought it was like, I was having fun. It was like an hour and a half long. It was intense. What are you cracking up about?
Because I already know where this is going.
So you finish the prologue, and the game's completely different. It's like, why did they even make a prologue like that then? If that wasn't going to be
It's the exact same thing that I thought.
So then I'm giving it a fair shake. I'm like, okay, let me try to play this. So now it turns into Assassin's Creed with guns. So I start playing. I get a couple hours in. I'm like, man, this is. It's fine. Like it runs fine. And,
Oh, it runs great.
You know what I mean? Like there's nothing like technically wrong with the game. It's just not fun. So I
have a good time. Like,
the game sucks balls.
So, like, here's where I'm at with this game. Like, they threw so many side quests at me where I have, like, I don't know, 50 or 60. I know there's, like...
Go shoot a fucking bear.
Yeah, go shoot. That's literally one of them. Yeah, go capture a bear. And I probably have, like, 20 or so I haven't done out of those. I know there's, like, 100 more I have to do after that. And, like, I don't know, there's just so much to do. And I'm just kind of losing interest in it. I really like the, infiltrate, bases. I like that kind of like slow, methodical, plan your attack kind of stuff. It's a Metal Gear that doesn't have a ridiculous control scheme, but the story, I don't fucking get it. There's giant 100-story tall robots in one act. I don't think he even got that far. Who literally just can see you from anywhere because he's literally like 100-story tall, and I don't know, he just chases you, and I don't know, there's just some weird Japanese things in there where you got what's the girl's name? Ghosts. Quiet. There you go. And like she's got this weird shower scene where she just, I don't know.
It's showering.
It's like raining out, and she's like rolling around in it. I'm like, why is this a thing? And you can like change her skins to be just covered in blood, just all red, and then her boobs bounce around in ridiculous ways. They're going everywhere.
The boob physics.
Damn boob physics. I'm fine with it. It's a good game. It's one of the ones where, mechanically it's good. There's nothing technically wrong with it. Story, I'm never gonna get.
I don't think even Kojima knows what the hell the story's about.
Probably.
Dude, that guy is like some hardcore psychedelics.
Right.
I played one more thing for 10 minutes. I forgot all about it. So, we're going to talk a little bit more about Nintendo stuff in a bit. But, so after we found out the release dates, I got a little excited for the new Zelda, obviously. And I look back and I'm like, man, I got like...
You mean Skyrim?
What?
Zelda?
Yeah, Zelda Skyrim.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm like, cool, I'm going to pick this up, but that's like 2-3 weeks away at this point, no? It's getting close. So this was 2 weeks? Yeah, this is maybe a week or two ago. I'm like, you know what? Like, I picked up, like, I beat Wind Waker back in the day, and stuff, and like, but I picked up the HD one. And I'm like, I think I played, like, I don't really remember, maybe halfway through it on the remaster on the Wii U. And I'm like, I should probably knock this out before the new one, because when that comes out, the limited time I spend on my Wii U is going to be spent playing the new Zelda. Like, so I should probably try to knock out some of this backlog, especially because I'm on vacation. So I jump in the game, and I don't remember what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing. It's literally been a year. Literally. It's been a year.
You told me this story the other day.
And I'm sitting there, and like the save point, like I'm in the fucking boat, I'm in the middle of the ocean, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. There's no like objective. There's no like arrow saying like, "Hey, go here." I'm in the middle of the fucking ocean on this boat.
How far into the game are you?
I think like halfway.
Okay.
And I don't know where to go or what to do. Yeah, I'm just sitting there floating.
You should start fishing.
So for like 10 minutes, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to fucking remember. And the problem is, I don't even know where to start to look it up. Because I'm in the middle of the ocean. There's nothing to identify where the fuck I am. And I can't even be like, oh hey, what do I do now? Because the last thing I beat was this thing. I don't remember. It's been a year. So I'm like halfway through this fucking game and I can't advance.
I really, I'm not going to do it, but I'd love to get Moss on the line and just have you trend it
I'll
up.
be like, yeah, I see that one tree with that pineapple. So you dumbass, turn left.
That's fine. I'd love to be able to get him on the line and have him direct
I was actually going to ask him the next time I went out to dinner with him or whatever. I was like, dude, how do I figure out where I'm supposed to fucking go?
He's just asking questions. Have you beaten this boss
Push the
yet?
start button, hit the right bumper, there's your map, you dumbass.
Yeah, something like I'm just overlooking.
Just got a giant star. Go here.
The thing with it is, it's just like, it's that older style of game, because games, whether people want to admit it or not, they really hold your hand nowadays.
Oh yeah.
And back then, they weren't as bad, which was a good thing when you played them front to back in a few sittings within a month of each other and you kind of knew what was going on. When you leave them be for a really long time and there's just nothing, no direction, and it's just like, wow, I could really use an objective.
Up and down in the fucking ocean.
I could really use a fucking checklist right now, because I don't know where the hell I'm supposed
Tony
to
out
go.
with a map. Nope.
It blows away.
So, that was my other thing. So that lasted about 10 minutes and I turned it off, because...
What are you gonna do?
No, because I started going, I'm just like, well, fuck it, I'll just start floating along. I'll start going to the next thing. And it kept getting mad at me. And it would like freak out and be like, oh, I forgot what it said. Like, we better not go that way. And then it forces the boat to... It's like, well, where do you want me to fuck? I can't see anything. And it won't let me go. So I think I'm supposed to be doing something. There's one fucking island there and there's nothing on it because it's like, it's really small. Like, nothing is there. So I get off, I dock, I get on the island, I'm like, there's nothing to do. So I'm starting to think that's what I did last time, and the island told me what to do, and I don't remember, and now that
Tony turns it off from a year ago. I was like, oh yeah, it's gotta go to the next time. No.
Yeah, exactly what happened. And now I'm just kind of like, and now I already hit the little part in the game that tells you where to go, I think, so I can't reactivate that thing.
You're screwed.
Fucked.
You can head on over to ZeldaDungeon.net and pull up one of those phenomenal strategy guides.
Wait, what's the website?
ZeldaDungeon.net.
Never heard of them.
Just start reading from the beginning.
And just find out, and to that point where you can figure out where that little island is. Watch, it's a side quest.
Yeah,
He's
right.
stuck in.
I'm obviously hamming it up a little. This was like 10 minutes in real time, but it's really what happened, and I was just like, I'm not dealing with this right now, and turned it off.
All right.
I'm sure I can figure it out if I watch like a whatever.
play.
A Moss play. Because again, I don't remember the last time we did a traditional show, but we're not going to do really like news or anything like that too much. But I threw up on Facebook a little while ago, just letting everybody know, hey, we're recording. It's our 5-year episode, blah blah blah. One of our loyal listeners,
Somehow we
Gage
get
Dale.
royalty.
Was there questions after the news though?
No, we're just. It's not really a question. Well,
I
news.
don't even remember.
Dirty.
Technically, it is.
Sexy.
But we're not doing like news traditionally.
Okay, but you're still gonna put the Dirty Sexy News song in.
Sure.
Okay.
And I'll put in a Gmail song. All right. Oh God.
Is it time for,
All right. So, Gage Dale said, "Hard to believe it's been almost 5 years since I started listening to you guys."
It's hard to believe. You think it's hard to believe. I can't believe we started this shit.
Tony lost all his hair because of this show.
That's how much stress has been put on.
He did ask, which Mark replied to.
Yeah, what a
on the Facebook
dumbass.
chat. But,
Yeah, just a new.
but he did ask, are there any games you guys are looking forward to? So I think we can give a quick little rundown about what we're looking forward to.
Since I was the one who answered, I will go first. My most
Spoilers.
Yeah, the game I look forward to the most this year is Mass Effect, and I only have a couple more weeks to wait. They just came out with the first gameplay trailer, which blew my freaking mind because what they're doing
Dude, literally
blew my mind. I'm gonna see how many times I can do it this episode, okay? For 5 years, okay? 5 years of
real quick to cut you off. I love watching archery runs because they went through that whole thing where people use literally when they shouldn't be, and it's figuratively.
Yeah,
and they make fun of it and every time they do it, I think of you.
Nice. So they started to show that basically any class can use almost any ability from what I got out of it, but then you can change your class whenever the hell you want, which makes no sense. So they're going to explain that second part of how you can just kind of change your classes whenever you want, I think this upcoming week. So probably by the time you actually see this, everyone will fucking know, so I'll look like a dumbass. But
it's alright, because we're going to look like dumbasses when we talk about the Switch stuff.
when it's changed already out or something. But it looks great. The whole semi-open world, whatever they're doing with it, it's going to take up so much of my time. I love that universe. I can't wait to meet some of the new characters. I think I already have the character. I think I'm gonna do the male character to start off with because I know you get to choose.
No femshep?
Well, it's not Shep anymore.
That's always going to be what it's going to be referred to. The female in the game's going to always be known as a femshep.
Femshep trilogy.
Well, Tony continues to Google what games are coming out this year.
I'm seeing, I have my 2 or 3, but I'm seeing if there's anything that I'm like, oh yeah, I totally forgot that's coming
How
out.
about South Park?
Well, that's what I'm going to say. Mine's
Next year now.
fucking heartbroken.
Yeah.
Because the game I was looking forward to was supposed to be out next month.
Yeah.
And now they pulled the same shit that they pulled last time.
There's something seriously wrong with that game.
Do you think so?
No, this happened with the first one. The first one came out brilliant. The first one got delayed like 4 times.
But not to a year-long delay, right?
It got delayed for like 2.5 years.
I know it got delayed a long time, but was it? This was like 1 month away, and now it's supposed to come out.
The game was supposed to come out in 2010. It came out after the Xbox and PS4 came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was still on the old. It was supposed to come out in 2010.
This game was 1 month away, and now it's coming out sometime in the next fiscal year.
Whatever the problem is, they'll work it out. They'll put out an amazing game, in my opinion.
I'm sure they will. Just because how the first one went, but
that's probably
a serious
I'm
delay.
looking forward to the most. It is, and
I was looking forward to it.
I want to point out something. They did it with Gears. We're 3. We were a month away. Because it was like in January or February, and it was supposed to come out in March, and they said it wouldn't be out until that fall. And look what that turned out to be.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
The last best Gears game.
And I'm sure the reason behind that was they were probably a month away, and they realized this game isn't fun, or there's something seriously wrong with multiplayer or whatever it was. There had to be something wrong for them to give such of a lengthy delay. So that's got to be what happened with South Park. Maybe they're adding multiplayer. I hope not.
Maybe.
I just want a single player thing. There had to be something that was just.
The only thing I can think is that maybe the game's not long enough and they want to add more content to it, because that was one of the issues with the previous South Park game is they were like, well, this is just an episode. We want to make this bigger, more involved, more.
See, I thought the first one was the perfect length.
I did too.
If it would have kept going.
Well, no, that's what I'm
I
saying.
think it was what, like 10 to
10, 12 hours.
Originally, it wasn't that long, is what I'm saying. They delayed. Don't quote me. They delayed the original to add more into it. So, I mean, that could be part of it.
Like I hate the South Park game combat, and if it dragged on too much longer, I would have really stopped.
I
like that.
It was very Paper Mario-esque.
Yeah, I like the combat. That was cool.
So
I love being the Jew. That was my class.
I don't remember what I was. Anyways.
I did it because there was an achievement tied to it. I'm like, oh, I might as well. But then that class ended up being really fun.
What's your gamer score?
Really fucking high.
Are you past Andy? Let's look. Well, Tony goes ahead and tells us about what he's. looking for?
I looked on this list of the upcoming stuff in this game and nothing new struck me. I'm only really looking forward to 3 or 4 games on the horizon, which looks pretty sad. The closest one, I don't know which one's coming out first, is Horizon on PS4 or Zelda. I know they're within a week or they might be the same day. Zelda, I'm cautiously
116,817.
Yeah.
116,000.
I'm cautiously optimistic with the new Zelda. It's gonna be a new Zelda. I'm sure it's gonna be fun. I'm just worried they went too open world and how they're gonna be able to like do it well.
133,073.
I'm
So he's like 20,000 ahead of me.
Yeah.
A little less than that, but
Interesting. If you have a full-time job. Sorry, Andy.
I think like well, should we talk about Zelda now or are we gonna wait for later?
We'll wait just a little bit.
Okay, so Zelda's one of them. We'll talk about it later. Horizon's coming up. That's another one I'm cautiously optimistic about. It's either going to be really cool or it's going to be pretty bad. I don't see a middle ground for that game. I don't know if they promise too much in the same vein as like a No Man's Sky, and then when people actually get their hands on it, it's not going to be what they said it was going to be at all. A little bit further down the road, I'm looking forward to like that zombie game from Sony Bend, Days Gone or whatever.
Days Gone, yeah.
That looked like a lot of fun. I'm getting a little tired of this really slow-paced zombie thing, and those things are like at a full-on sprint at you. So that looks really fun. And I'm looking forward to God of War, but that might still be over a year away, so I don't even know how to classify that. Beyond that, like,
what else does Microsoft have coming this year?
we might finally get Sea of Thieves. That
Oh,
game,
yeah,
that,
Sea of
that game that
Thieves.
got announced before the console was launched.
Crackdown,
That still
maybe.
hasn't come up.
Let's see about that.
So I don't know. We'll see at E3 because I think Microsoft's keeping an awful lot close to the chest.
Scorpio Hill is June 10th?
Yeah, I don't want to get everybody super like, oh my god, Microsoft suddenly is going to have 10 exclusives. But I think that the 2 or 3 that they normally would have announced now, they're holding them back for the Scorpio reveal. So I think that we will get a few new exclusives that we either didn't hear of, whether they be sequels or new IPs. We'll get a couple, but instead of letting them trickle out once in a while and kind of having their 1 month in the news cycle where everybody gets hyped and then announcing the next one like they would normally do, I think they're going to kind of save them for the big reveal. So we'll see what's coming. That's why everything I listed is coming out on PlayStation, because Microsoft doesn't technically have anything in the works besides Halo Wars, which is a week away. So,
Yeah.
or it's out or whatever.
Might be. I think it is if you have the Ultimate Edition. I think it's out.
Right now it is out. It comes out Tuesday. So if you have that 4-day early thing, you got it.
Yeah, so Ultimate Edition's
Yeah.
out always Tuesday.
So, but beyond that, yeah, Zelda on Nintendo, that's all. I'm curious about the new Mario, but that's so far away, and
Mario GTA.
still, yeah, and I still don't know
Looks
if I'm
good.
getting
I like
the
it.
Switch, but
It's like that mixed with like Spider-Man. Was it Spider-Man 2 or 3?
Oh, that's another game. Thank you for saying Spider-Man. I'm looking
God,
super forward to it.
God, man.
Half of it is me being excited about a new open world Spider-Man,
big.
and the other half is how much it purely pisses Jason off
Does, but
because of the costume.
does.
And he's not going to buy a game because of the outfit. It could be the greatest game
Well,
ever
for what?
made.
For what?
They can make
I do wanna
The
come out.
Last of Us
It's because he's a spider.
look like a
Big.
piece of garbage.
I didn't
and
play
Jason
Last
doesn't
of Us.
care. Jason doesn't care.
Didn't play Last of Us.
Because
You mean the greatest
because the
game
costume.
of the generation? You didn't
you
play?
mean Uncharted?
Yeah, I mean that's like second, but Last of Us is number 1.
No.
No, yes it is.
No, it's not.
No, yes it is.
No, it's
No,
not.
yes it
You're
is.
wrong.
Yes it is.
Tony?
No.
No.
Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, Last of Us, Uncharted.
See, I'm gonna put Last of Us up there. I like The Last of Us.
I love Last
I
of Us.
love. We're talking about games I love.
You don't have to,
But I'm
you don't have
still
to sell
saying
me on
Last
it.
of Us.
It was awesome, but I don't even think it's in their top 3 games.
Carmen was
I
you pick up Last of Us.
am
You gotta do it.
not going to buy a console for one game, and we'll get into that a little bit more.
Actually, really soon to come to the last one.
Huh?
Or did you not go yet? What are you looking for?
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Then let's-
So there's our
let's
perfect segue.
we can talk about
The
something
last
else.
time we were here, we talked about.
Wait. News! News! Kind of.
Dirty, dirty.
The last time we were here, we talked about, this was pre-Switch reveal. And we talked about what we wanted.
I gotta piss.
The console to be, what we thought they were going to do.
So you're talking about buying the Switch for one game? Is that where you're going?
I mean, if you want me to jump right in and give you my thoughts right off the bat.
I mean, it was pretty obvious what you were saying.
Yeah. I told everybody that like I was on board. I was going to do this. It was going to be my last hurrah with Nintendo if they screwed up stuff.
Are you differently?
And I watched that video and I watched what they talked
What's the
about.
guy who got his already?
And just from the start, after that opening of the video, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse from there. I've got a ton of friends like Berg and Christina and Steve and a bunch of people that we've talked about on the show that are super stoked for this thing, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, all this is what the Wii U should have been 5 years ago, or however long it's been out for now. 3, 4, whatever.
We're talking about the Switch right now.
Yeah. It just,
What you talking about?
it's so
Let's try to catch up.
frustrating.
Cutting diamonds.
It is so frustrating that Nintendo can drop the ball this bad and just like continue to stay par for the course with what they do.
Now, what disappoints you the most about this?
Well, the price is too high. Okay, it's $300, right?
Yes.
That's too much.
Okay. Excuse.
Same price. One comes with fucking a blue and a red controller.
Yeah, but I said 2 SKUs in my
Anyways.
predictions. I was right.
Well, good. Right?
Hashtag Mark was
I
right.
guess Mark doesn't have to eat a jelly bean. The price is too high. The battery life sucks.
So there's like 2 certain games from what it sounded like. Certain games will have a 2.5 hour was the minimum, I think, right?
Yeah, but that's dev time. When it actually gets down into people's hands, it's going to be less.
But it
Yeah.
was supposed to be from like 2.5 to 6, I believe, right?
Depending on
Depending on what you do.
So what you're saying is if the tablet's in standby, you've got 6 hours of battery.
or if you're barely doing anything.
Yeah,
Like
so-
if the screen's black and you're playing on your TV and you're just using the things, you might get 6 hours.
Yeah.
When you're using the full tablet and all its functions, are going to be on the way lower end.
Now, what were you hoping, and what was your minimal requirement in your head for it?
Anything.
Put it this way, my tablet has better resolution than the Switch, and minus physical buttons, it's a bigger screen that has to keep better illuminated with better graphics, and the battery's twice as long as
That's
the
what I'm
Switch.
saying. Like an iPad lasts
Oh, yeah.
4 times as long as that. Granted,
I totally agree with
it's,
you guys.
It's
Like, I think
3-4
it's-
times the price, but like batteries aren't hard to pull off. Having a decent battery in a product isn't hard to do nowadays. It's really not. Why such a shitty battery life?
I mean, perfect example is cell phones. You get it all day. You used to have a cell phone, and they're
I have an iPhone, and they're notorious for having one of the shittiest batteries ever, right? My phone, and I play games on my phone. I'm using it. It's connected to my watch. I use the Bluetooth. I use my phone lasts me all day. Okay, and this is, and no, it's not a brand new one. Mine's a year and a half old. It's the 6S Plus. Okay, so like, come on.
Yeah, mine was 2 days when I bought it. Now it doesn't even last half a day. It's really old.
But just like, come on, guys, really. If you have such a shitty battery life, make it swappable.
or upgradable.
Yeah.
Now, one thing.
The other 2 big points. Forget whatever the hell they're gonna do with this paid subscription crap. Which, fine, okay. They're the last ones to get on board with it. Okay. No chat. You have to chat through your phone. So wait a minute.
Just a
You're
minute.
telling me I have to, and I know it's not at launch, but essentially I have to pay for an online service to talk to somebody on my phone.
Yes.
What the fuck is that?
Oh, I know. Like, I don't know. That is, to me, that is one of the most boneheaded things I've ever heard of.
Not a single word.
Considering chat has been in, I believe even the
Wait,
PS2.
that was more boneheaded than having a plug in your Wii regular controller into the Wiimote to have it actually.
Oh, those are bad too. Yes, but those are the.
Because that was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Because like text chat has been around since I believe I used to use it on my PS2. I might be wrong with that, but it's been around for a very long time.
Yeah. SOCOM had a fucking headset. You could talk to people in the game.
Yeah.
The third thing is lack of launch titles. We'll get to it in a second because I know
I think they're
the
up
big
to
one's Zelda.
8 games now. Is that right?
Launch titles or launch window?
Launch games.
Here's with me. I want to dissect what your stuff is a little bit with the price.
Let me get to the last part.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
And that is the absolute lack of anything referring to the back catalog whatsoever. They haven't said a single word about, other than anything that you buy on the eShop is now tied to an account, not a console.
That's nice.
Good job. Okay, good job.
Welcome to 10 years ago, yeah.
15 years ago with iTunes,
Yeah.
or whatever your music service was at that time. Good fucking job.
LimeWire.
Yeah,
All right. For me, I'm not as venomous as James.
Oh, I was the biggest supporter in this room for this thing.
I was always
second.
I was always mediocre about this, and I'm still mediocre about it. See, I want to applaud Nintendo in a minute on what they've done, because we've cumulatively as a podcast, and I think we echo a lot of people beyond the extremely hardcore Nintendo faithful, which just never have a bad thing to say at all about Nintendo.
It's because they can't be critical.
For normal gamers, I think we echoed at least a majority of what a lot of people wanted to see. We had like a checklist, like fix your online, have a good online infrastructure, get stuff off of being tied into the console and have it on your account, and so on and so forth. There was like these 10 or 15 major bullet points that they had to hit just to catch up. Okay, and
To last gen.
yeah, but the thing is, Nintendo did about half of them. Okay, they didn't do everything, but they actually sort of listened a little bit and fixed a few things. So I don't think it's as bad as everyone's making it out to be. By no means did they make this thing the way I wanted them to make it, but they are finally sort of catching up on a few areas, so I think a little credit should be given. The price I don't think is bad at all. $300 is cheap. The problem with their $300 price point is the PS4 and the Xbox One are still way more powerful than it, and they are both currently cheaper
With games.
and they both have a really big library and an established
Very
online
robust.
presence. Yeah, because if you didn't jump on at all to this now current gen, because Nintendo's a week away, we can throw them in with current. If you still are holding off, if you're still playing your 360 or your PS3 or your Wii U, that's fine, but you're finally like, okay, it's time to upgrade. And you look, and the Nintendo's 300 with a, what is it? How many gigabytes?
32.
Which is embarrassing.
Which is actually, I believe, 29.
Yeah, because the
Which are literally that's like maybe $1 or $2 that you could buy, like a 32 gig. Okay, maybe I'm going a little low, but like
No, when they buy 3 million at a time, those guys give.
I was talking about like
When their internal memory on their hardware, and I'll let you get back to it, matches the internal memory on their deluxe edition of their previous hardware, something
No, it's
wrong.
pathetic. I agree.
But that's another point. You hold the three up to each other. It's going to be the weakest one, not by a lot, because they actually almost caught up. But the problem is you're 2 years away from you're 1 year away from a new Xbox, and the PS5's not going to be far behind it. So you're already going to be out of date again, which was the major problem from the Wii U. They had to vastly surpass the Xbox and the PlayStation to stay relevant a little longer. But basically, you're looking at it. It's $300 for the Nintendo, and the other two are around $250, and they come with games. They have hundreds of games in the catalog already. They get third-party support, which Nintendo addressed very, very poorly, because they're like,
Because they don't have it.
look at these sweet games we have.
Here's fucking Just Dance again.
They're really not. Like, they're getting Skyrim. Like,
They're not even
the
the
regular
entire EA Sports catalog.
edition. They're giving them one game.
PS3 version of FIFA.
Yeah,
It's not even the next gen version.
The thing is, everybody's trying to support it, but they're really not, because what's going to happen is they're going to put 1 or 2 games on there that are safe, and when they don't sell well, like EA, their best-selling franchise is FIFA. If it doesn't sell well, they're going to make, if this didn't sell, none of these games are going to sell, and they're going to bail. Activision's going to try to say, all these companies are going to try the same thing. Bethesda's trying it with their original Skyrim, not even the enhanced
From
edition.
6 years
It's an HD. No mod support, no nothing. They're going to try. And when that doesn't sell, Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6 and stuff, they're going to be like, well, we tried and they didn't sell well, so we're not going to put these on there. Anyway, back to the big thing. The $300 isn't bad for a brand new console. It's bad when you hold it up to the competition that offer way more, way better, cheaper. And it's also really, really bad because the $300 won't sting very poorly. What stings is when you need extra stuff. Their add-ons are laughably expensive.
Yes.
Those two little jigglers are like
$80.
Yeah, like everybody else sells controllers for $60, then they go on sale for $40. You can't sell these things for $80, $90, and people are gonna be like, oh, okay. That little,
It's that HD Rumble, man.
yeah, that little.
Oh yeah, fucking putting ice cubes in a cup? Come on! What is that bullshit?
I think it was
That'd
just to
be cool.
show off the gyroscopic features or whatever. But when are you going to use that crap in an actual game?
So now, my way I've looked at this is Nintendo to me will never be a top 2 developer anymore or console maker anymore. They are very much in 3rd place, and I think that there's no way they're ever going to get out of that hole. So, with that in mind, when you look at that, how many people are actually going to Nintendo for multiplayer gaming? Because they don't, and the other side of the argument is they don't really offer a very compelling product when it comes to online anyway. So that could be a point of
we touched on that the last time we talked, and it was kind of a role reversal thing. The thing is they need to appear legitimate, to be relevant. They need that 3rd-party support. They need to do these things to stay relevant. The fact of the matter is the worst part is their first-party online support for games like Mario Kart and Smash Brothers has never been a solid outing. Okay, the only thing that has worked consistently is Pokemon. Okay, and that's not hard to do. The problem is the big thing. And I hinted at it, as I'm not buying a $300 console for one game. Does the new Zelda look absolutely amazing? Yes. Does it justify the purchase of this console and any additional accessories I may need? No. The first-party launch title games that they showcased, that boxing thing, I don't even remember the name of it, Wiggly Arms or Crazy Arms?
It's just Zelda.
Okay.
It's that in the
Splatoon 2 is fine.
It's just Zelda.
Splatoon 2 is fine, okay? That's a great secondary game to have as a launch title.
That's not a launch title.
I thought it was.
No, that's coming out like almost holiday.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's dumb. I know Mario Kart's not even technically a launch title. It's like 2 or 3 weeks later, which is Mario Kart 8 with the DLC.
Yeah, just redone.
What I originally wanted, my perfect scenario was forget all the extra features that I wanted. Put out the console, have it have a decent battery life, and if I had to go and buy the top-selling games from the Wii U to play on the new console, that would have given me enough to justify having the new Zelda and then having Mario Maker, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, these games that should be easy to port over, but they're not for whatever reason. We've got 2 of like the 10 that there should be.
Now what I was going with was because they're not going to be a top 2, which is where most casual to hardcore players will be, they're that secondary console here, meaning no one's getting a Call of Duty on a Switch. No one's going to want it. You're going to want to get that on your console. So what you're leaving yourself with is games no other console can do, which would be using the tablet and, in some way, shape, or form of, getting them outside, kind of like a Pokemon Go or something like that, and then your first party games. So, and I think that's where this, and that's not going to be a console that's going to be successful. Look at the Wii U, though. Just because you didn't have third-party support, you had just whatever first-party games came out in the year. So
which most of them were excellent, but you only got 1 or 2 a year.
That's the other problem.
That's kind of where I'm looking at.
Nintendo's only so limited. They can only make so many games by themselves.
They're staying that course. Where I foresaw this going is Nintendo has a great handheld market. They know how to do handheld. Even though handheld market has been on a decline over the past years because of smartphones and things like that, they've always been able to bring people back for things like Pokemon, Phoenix Wright, things like that. Now, if they would have took the ability to make these handheld games and then the good first-party console games and brought them together, would have been ideal. So you have a major title like a Zelda. All right, that's your backbone of your launch lineup. Then you have a Mario Kart as a backwards compatible game, however you want to call it, right? And then you put out like a Phoenix Wright or a couple things like that. The handheld stuff now you can play it on A on the go or B on the big screen, and you merge those two markets together. That would have been more. But all this really looks like to me, and the reason that I'm now shitting all over this is literally the Wii 2.0, or the Wii U 2.0.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was getting at.
All it is.
They obviously don't have the support. They will have the exact same thing that they had with the Wii U, but now it's a mobile console instead of it being an at-home.
The thing that pisses me off about Nintendo, and it's nothing new, they've done it for 30 years, is they have such a stranglehold on their first-party properties.
Give me Fire Emblem on Xbox.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is some of the best handheld games for Zelda and things like that have been handed off to Capcom and things like that. And they've done the Oracle Seasons, Oracle of Ages were done by Capcom, I believe.
I do believe, it wasn't made.
And they've
heard that.
And they've stood up as some of the best games. So Nintendo has handed off some of their top franchises and had other companies develop. Where, as Tony said, they struggled to be able to produce so many X amount of games during a generation lifetime. Here's your third-party support. Hey Capcom, make us a Zelda game. Or even Hyrule Warriors, they handed it off to the guys that make Dynasty Warriors. Go play, take our franchises, take our players, and create for us. That, in a perfect scenario, is how you bring in your third-party developers. You guys can play with our toys, and then, we'll make a deal with Capcom. We'll put out, we'll give you Zelda to make a game with, right? And then, in return, you give us 2 games, like Street Fighter or whatever. You have to develop these relationships with these third-party developers, because right now, there's no reason for them to do anything with you, other than we'll put something out because, we've had a long-standing history with Nintendo, and we want to give this new hardware a shot, and when it doesn't sell, like Tony said, then the hell with it, we're done. As opposed where, if you give them the tools, and it's like win-win for everybody. Nintendo makes money, the third parties make their cut, the gamers are happy because there's content, there's games coming out. It just, my problem is this has been their mindset. And I mean, going as far back to Super Nintendo, I was a kid, I didn't realize this. I started to realize that around the GameCube era, Wii era, it's too little content to justify this. Oh, I get 3 awesome Nintendo games a year, and that's it. This thing's sitting here collecting dust.
Their major problem is with the third parties. It's really would help so much, because if you look, compare them with Microsoft, okay? Nintendo might even put out more exclusives than Microsoft, or it's really close. They're both on the very low end comparative to like Sony, who puts out a ton of first-party content. Most of it's garbage, but they put out more than anyone. Microsoft and Nintendo both put out a very low amount of exclusive content. The reason Xbox is successful, it's not as successful as the PlayStation this generation, but the reason Microsoft is still successful is because they're so easy to develop for, and they're not a generation behind on power. So while you're waiting for the new Forza, or the new Gears of War, or the new Halo, or the new whatever the hell it is that they're coming up with, it's okay, because literally every other week, you might not like them all, but literally every other week, a game is coming out from some third party that keeps people engaged in your echo chamber, your system. So it doesn't matter that Xbox is only putting out a game or two a year that are exclusive, because they're so wide open. Hundreds of other games to play. So Nintendo could take their sweet ass time. They only have to put out those same 3 or 4 games a year. But when that's your only content, because the third parties aren't helping at all, it really shows it puts a magnifying glass on the glaring problem that there's not enough to justify the cost of the console. So they'd be fine not getting any bigger. They don't have to open up more studios. They don't have to produce more games. But you need help from the thousands of developers out there that can be putting a game on your console every week or two.
Now, going off of kind of what both you guys said, I mean, you were saying how Nintendo hasn't learned from like 30 years, or they've been, doing the same thing for 30 years and it hasn't been working. They're going back with cartridges. They're done with the discs, and I always remember hearing about the N64, and a lot of third-party developers were annoyed at the fact of the cost of the N64 cartridge.
Yes.
And the fact that everyone else at that point already moved away from them. They were done. They didn't want to. They thought cartridges were done until N64 came back out. It was all about discs.
Discs were $2 a piece.
Exactly. The
You printed your game on it.
Ridiculous.
The cartridge was for $30 or $40, and you could only sell the game for 60 or 70. Half of yours was the cost of the cartridge.
So I mean, I don't know the entire process of actually putting a game that is on a disc onto a cartridge. I'm sure it's got to be
cartridges have their benefits.
A little harder.
I have heard the
zero load time, all these other things. They can't scratch. They can't.
You would think that there's zero load time, but then we have the Vita, which has load time. I know what you mean.
Really quick,
I don't know. I don't have too many actual. All my stuff's digital.
I do believe
I have like 5 games on
the cartridges hold. From what has come out so far, they're about 20 gigs.
Okay.
Like, that's abysmal.
I mean, it's still a cartridge that's probably about that. I mean, that's pretty incredible for how small it is for that. But I agree when you like Halo 5 is 103 gigabytes.
Is it really that high now? I remember it was 90 something.
Yeah. So that has to give another step to developers. Now they have to test their games for third parties. They have to test their games on the cartridge. Does it run as good as the disc?
I was, and I know I sound like a huge hypocrite. I was so excited for this.
He was. In Jason's defense, he was more excited than all of us. I was pretty. When it first got announced, I was cautiously optimistic, kind of like maybe. And now that we know everything, I'm still kind of like maybe. They did sell out really quick, even though it was a very small allotment. But they are sold out. So what I did was on Amazon, I put, hey, notify me when this becomes available again. So I still have time to think about it. But right now, I'm still like I was before the announcement, where I don't really know if I need this. And beyond Zelda, which I'm gonna end up getting on the Wii U anyway, because I already own that, and I'd rather just buy a game. I'd rather just buy a game as opposed to a console and game.
I will have a Switch in my house.
Then it's going to start making that feedback noise, so we might have to take a little intermission. Okay.
I personally have a Switch that will be in my house day one. One of my roommates pre-ordered it, so I will at least be able to get some kind of
hands-on experience.
Yeah.
Did you? Wow.
No, my mom did though.
Oh really?
Yeah.
See, I don't know.
She like half a dart.
Apparently now I'm the only person that doesn't have a house. Fuckers. Anyways.
Yeah.
And I know there's going to be people out there that are going to bash me for kind of turning on this. I don't really feel that I got overhyped about it beforehand. I don't think my expectations were set too high, realistically. Like, these are simple items I asked for. You know, there's no reason that they couldn't do that. Like, okay, forget the fact that to voice chat I have to be on my cell phone.
Because you're not going to talk with anyone when you're playing it.
Whatever, regardless.
Yeah.
But
There's still other negatives.
The negatives is why do we have to wait for, like, why did they not put the top 10 Wii U games on launch, backwards compatible? Even if I have to rebuy them, I don't know a better term for it. Re-release, there you go.
Yeah.
Why are those not there? Why did they not talk about, like, hey, right off the bat, we're going to have the entire first-party Nintendo NES library, SNES, N64, which
that means you get to keep your games.
is very easy to do.
That was a big mistake.
Yeah, that was a big mistake.
But I'm just saying, like, if they said our eShop's going to be the biggest eShop that we've ever had, we're going to have everything there at start.
That's real quick. That's
where I'm
a
getting.
big mistake.
Great, they're going to give you
You're charging. Fine. Everybody else charges. You're going to get games every month. Cool. That's what everybody else does. You don't get to keep them. You only get to play them for that month. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one blew my mind that they were going to take them away from.
No, I think you get two. You get an SNES and an NES game.
Yeah, you get two. But the fact that you
But they're doing cool stuff with them. But I don't get why you don't get to keep them. Like the SNES.
You're going to release them again?
No, you're going to get like multiplayer and shit on the SNES. Like, that sounds really fucking cool. Like, you could play like the old Turtles arcade games over online with your buddies and stuff. You can't talk to them, obviously.
Sure you can. On the phone.
Yeah, you can call them.
But it'll just be the same thing like when PS3's party chat sucked. We were all on Xbox Live talking in a party, then you hit video twice and you just play your Nintendo. So it'll be the same, like, it's just an extra step. You'll just end up using your Xbox Live.
Here's the other really...
But why do you not get to keep the games? That's
because then they want you to buy them next month.
You're talking about like a $3 game that you're charging.
Would you like to buy it?
Microsoft and Sony give out full-priced games for free.
Usually, obviously, a while.
No, I'm saying free.
Yeah, it used to be a $60 game.
There's been a couple that'll be like, it may be an indie game, but it's a $60, or I'm sorry, a $20 indie game. Mm-hmm. We're giving it to you free the day that it comes out.
Yeah.
They've done that.
PlayStation does that a lot.
You know?
You get a brand new release indie.
Oh, it's Rocket League right there.
Yeah. Rocket League, Binding of Isaac is two examples. Like,
and almost every month you get one game that just came out.
Yeah.
On PlayStation at least.
Yeah, PlayStation, yeah.
Here's the other thing. There's a button on the system that takes screenshots.
So that's right. You can photo capture.
Not video though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yet I love how they say this feature's coming, but and I mean I know everybody did it. Microsoft did it. They were
Simpsons did it.
We're gonna do streaming. It's not available yet.
I don't know.
That's fine. But the fact is in the current world that we live in, what we are doing right now is we are on YouTube.
They're gonna pull a weird Sony thing where they didn't have YouTube, but they had Ustream.
Yeah. We can walk into the other room right now, push two buttons on our Xbox, and stream.
Tony's penis.
Oh, wow.
Out for everyone to see. Hey, it's the 5 years old.
But yet, Nintendo can't grasp this concept at launch. This is a feature that we have had now for multiple years. Okay.
You know what my honest thing.
Who the fuck wants to see me take I'm gonna share a picture of a game with you? Oh, I'm sorry, I can write on it too. Oh fucking boy.
I think I legitimately what I think is happening with the Switch is it's not ready. The thing probably should have came out this upcoming fall, with more of the features ready to go. But they're just pushing it out because
timing. Because then you're running into the possibility of Scorpio coming out this Christmas.
The Scorpio's coming out this year. This isn't a maybe anymore. It's coming out this fall. And we don't know what Sony's got in the works, but they're not going to sit around and wait. Once the Xbox outdoes them, you're going to start hearing rumblings about a PS5. The later you wait, the closer you're getting toward the end of this generation. So you have to put it out. Another reason is Zelda. Zelda was supposed to be a Wii U game, and it still should be, in my opinion. I don't know. They're doing this to help whatever, but you have to... Zelda's been ready. They basically held it in the bank waiting for the Switch to be ready. So I think the Switch is coming out earlier than it needs to just to get Zelda out, which has been ready already. So I don't...
Ready.
I don't know. I think if they had a few more months to work out the kinks, I mean, it's pretty evident. Like, you look at it like, this isn't ready, and this isn't ready, and we're charging for online, but we're not doing it for 7 or 8 months because we don't have the infrastructure, and people are going to bitch about paying whatever it is. They are cheaper than everybody else, 30 or 40 bucks.
For what?
They announced that.
Did they?
I don't know what they... It's less than everybody else.
I stopped caring.
But still, it's like, but we're not going to start charging for 8 months because people are going to flip out if you're paying 30 or 40 bucks a year and it's not ready for a year. So if you read between the lines, there's obviously a lot of problems.
Any phone, computer, tablet, home console in the past 10 years that when they show it, they have not shown the menus and the dashboard and the infrastructure.
This thing is coming out in 2 weeks, and they flipped the fuck out because that guy leaked the thing. It's 2 weeks away. Calm down.
I'm just like, can you think of anybody that
if you've been reading the news, Nintendo is flipping the fuck out at this guy who put that video up on YouTube. He's leaking shit. I get it. It's not like he's giving away big secrets from 6 months from now. There was another story I saw on Reddit that the Nintendo. This was yesterday.
I love the fact that he blurred out the barcode. He was smart enough to blur out the barcode with the serial number on it.
The Nintendo reps went into a GameStop and they were trying to show it off and they didn't let anybody turn it on. This was yesterday. The thing is coming out in 2 weeks.
They did have private press.
No, they were letting people hold on to the Switch controller. You couldn't use it.
I don't know. No. They had a Street Fighter tournament going on. Brian Berg was at this event. He got to play some of Zelda, and he got to, I don't know if he got to play Street Fighter.
But that's why I don't understand why. If they're letting certain people do it at certain events, what is the big deal?
Yeah.
I've heard this too. They talked about it on Gamescast this week. They were like not able to like take the tablet out of the cradle. Like one person let them because they asked, but everyone's like, no, it's got to stay in the cradle.
Yeah.
You have to, you can't take it mobile.
You're like a couple weeks away though from it just being released to the masses. You're not trying to hold stuff back.
This was at the New York event that happened like a week and a half ago maybe.
Like I get it. I'm talking about yesterday.
Oh yeah.
This happened yesterday.
It's been happening.
I get it. Microsoft doesn't want you to take pictures of the Scorpio yet. It's 8 months away. It's still being in R&D.
Doesn't have a name yet.
They're still working out the kinks. It's still under a project thing. I get it. This thing's coming out in 2 weeks, and you have let people do stuff. There was the big Switch event in Australia a week ago. There's all these lines. You can the big conference. They were letting people play with it. But then you have the Nintendo reps going around trying to sell the thing, and you can't turn it on. How is that pushing sales? Well, this thing comes out in 2 weeks, and the customers, the people are just because this was
they
in
got
a
to box that one back up and try and sell it because they won't have enough to go around because it's selling like hotcakes.
Well, the initial allotment is sold out, but
every time they
that's what I was gonna say.
They do it on purpose.
I was at GameStop.
Bullshit every time they say that they can't make enough. Bullshit.
Yeah, we were all working at GameStop when the Wii U came out. It sold out.
Yeah.
You couldn't get one. It sold 1 million units in the first 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
You couldn't get anyone. Anywhere.
The problem is, I was at GameStop when the Wii came out.
The problem is 2 or 3 weeks later, after the Nintendo faithful all got their then they were on the shelves everywhere, and the problem became really so all of the people like I'm on Nintendo subreddits and stuff. They're just like, it's sold out, it's awesome, nobody can get one anywhere. This is great news.
This happens with the NES Classic. Come on, guys, $60 for a fucking emulator that plays 30 games.
But this happens with
get a Raspberry Pi.
This happens with
it's a good deal for most people though.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Bullshit.
$2 a game.
Bullshit.
$2 a game.
Bullshit.
$2 a game.
Garbage.
Okay, now I will 100% agree that the controller is Nintendo making another shit.
Mark,
mistake.
you cannot sit here with a straight face and tell me that paying $60 for a 30-game emulator with a wired controller is a good deal.
I think it was a good deal. Honestly,
with you being the tech-savvy person.
Oh yeah, I could easily go out and do this and have it set up in probably about an hour.
That's my point. Is like,
but no, I mean you're looking at this for like a mainstream audience who's not going to know how to do any of that. $60 for 30 of arguably some of their best games. Now, what ticks me off about them is the fact that one came with a wireless controller, should have been wireless, or
Especially when those are like $8 on Amazon. But it's
Yeah.
just a USB dongle and the thing's wireless.
I would
And
give
it's
it to
it's
them
a
if they were
perfect
just giving you a 6-foot cable. The 3.5 feet it is. Like
How
that
much
is.
more money would they have made with this thing if they would have put an SD card slot on it and at GameStop sold expansion packs for it where you could load in more games?
No,
That would have got dangerous. That would have opened it up for piracy.
You already.
Oh, yeah, that piracy would have
Of
been
course, every Nintendo console solo tech, they get broken into it.
But I'm just saying,
once,
no,
but-
they hid a message in the thing for pirates. It's funny.
The one thing I would say about that, and I mean, there's a lot of things in the NES Classic that Nintendo being Nintendo, which is boneheaded mistakes, was the allotments. They made up some excuse. All these parts are really hard to get.
All right, so we could sit here and we can
Fucking
continue
PR
to
people.
ramble on about Nintendo. We do have to charge the camera up a
I'm
little bit.
pulling a wait and see with it. I'm not happy with what
That's
I've
what I
heard.
was getting.
I'm not happy with what I've heard yet, but I'm glad. I'm kind of reiterating what I said earlier. I'm glad they finally are taking some steps in the right direction. I think I'm way less hard on it than you've been.
This is Batman versus Superman. all over again.
I'm just. It is not what I wanted. I want to make that very clear. I think they needed to, out of my bullet points, the 10 things that you needed to do, they had to hit on 8 or 9 of them. You could have dealt with 1 or 2 stupid things, just being like, oh, it's Nintendo being Nintendo. The problem is they only hit on like 5 out of the 10 things that I feel you needed to do just to be on a par level playing field, just to catch up. You wouldn't even have surpassed anybody, but you would have just been like, okay, you're normal now. You have an online infrastructure that doesn't totally suck balls. I only have to buy these
You have to
games.
be determined.
I only have to get these games one more time. You know what I mean? Like your the peripherals.
Nintendo account.
The peripherals, somebody worked it out. It's cheaper to just buy a second Nintendo Switch, or it's only like $20 more. I think Boogie did this. Where it's like $20 more to just buy a second Nintendo Switch for all the extra peripherals than it is to buy everything piecemeal. And you have an extra console for only $20. Like, that's how expensive all this stuff is. So, I don't know.
We know Mark's already got one by proxy.
Yeah.
Other than that, are you excited about it whatsoever? Anything that, like, are you going to go out and buy a game for it or anything like that, or is it just a novelty in your house?
It's going to come down to if they come out with a full release Fire Emblem. That's really the only Nintendo series that I like, and I didn't even really like Birthright.
I would suggest to you, because there is the Fire Emblem Heroes coming out. I had a ton of fun with Hyrule Warriors. And there's
Yeah,
Fire
their
Emblem Warriors
version of it. That one doesn't interest me.
I would honestly say, try it out. You might actually end up enjoying it a little bit more than what you think.
Yeah, because like
Just from the
Heroes is too dumbed down for me.
Yeah, I said the wrong game. Me, it's too little, too late. As far as they just like Tony said, they needed to really swing for the fences. They didn't. Okay, they played it safe with this console when this is the time they needed to take the risks and make that jump. I understand they'll never be, a Microsoft or a Sony,
No, I
but they
think that's
really
the
needed to do something to grab the older fans like us by the throat and say we're still fucking relevant, and they didn't. Okay. It's really good. It's almost like Disney, okay? And what I mean by Disney is if Disney would continue to make traditional animation, right? As technology evolved, they realized we have to evolve with that technology now. Yes, there is still traditional animation that they release, but then you have a studio like Pixar, okay, that can innovate and continue to grow with the technology and the trends. Nintendo's not doing that, okay? The official stance that I am having on this system is just like with the Wii U. When one of my buddies gets tired of it and will sell me a Wii U with 6 games for $200, or when they sell me a Switch with 6 games for $200 a year from now, sure, then I'll give them a shot, because at that point, Nintendo, you're nothing more than a novelty to me.
I just think they're losing more and more market share every generation that's passing, because traditionally what used to happen is everybody started on Nintendo, and then you kind of moved up to the big boys as you got older, and that was fine. They had this, they had the place in the world, even when they were way behind everybody else, and it was fine for people just starting out. The problem is that demographic shifted where younger kids are playing M-rated games way earlier, and the other half are doing it on phones and tablets and stuff, and they don't really ever make the transition to consoles. So you're making less and less Nintendo fans, and the ones that you had are shrinking every single generation because more and more of them are getting fed up. They're moving on to different platforms, and they're realizing that in most instances, minus the first-party games, which are always excellent, but in every other aspect, it's just not worth it anymore. So you're losing and losing and losing mindshare, and you're not getting anyone new. You're not making new Nintendo fans nowadays. You go ask, like back in the day, they had such. My mom still calls this shit Nintendo, like Xbox.
It's like Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Okay. It's an adhesive strip, but we all call them Band-Aid.
Because my parents
Q-tips.
never played any of this crap. You know what I mean? So like to her, the Xbox, the PlayStation, they're still Nintendo. It's the way that old mindset was where, I don't know, man, it's
heartbreaking. It really is.
We'll see what happens, but I think they're losing too much mind share. They're not making any new ones, because you ask kids now, go ask a 5-year-old, do you want the Wii U or do you want the Xbox? They're all going to say they want the Xbox. That's a problem. 15 years ago, you asked the kid, do you want the PS2 or do you want the GameCube? Do you want the Nintendo? They all wanted the Nintendo. And then when you got older, the older crowd was playing PlayStation. You lost all that. You're not making new fans. And the ones you have, you're pissing them off.
Mm-hmm.
PC
It's a big problem.
We've still got a lot more content to cover.
We're running out of battery.
In this episode. It's going to become a two-part.
I say you just cut it, plug it in, and if the second one sounds fuzzy, it sounds fuzzy.
No, it's going to be real bad.
You want to wait 3 hours for a battery
No, I'm
to
not
charge?
going to wait for 3 hours. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to cut this episode here. We're going to turn it into a part 2. So stay tuned for part 2. It'll be up sometime shortly after this one. We'll be back in a little bit.